When a company makes the decision to reposition itself in a particular market, there are endless possibilities for failure. However, there is also potential for great successes. Some of the biggest companies in the world have repositioned themselves and seen some of the highest returns in their history. So what should Le Chateau do as it plans to reposition itself? We are here to show you that pursuing the Generation Y market through increased front-of-house awareness, localized manufacturing with sustainable efforts, and a leadership development program, it will bring the success that Le Chateau is looking for. My colleagues and I will start by highlighting the main issues that we are faced with and provide analytics to show some of the deeper problems as well. Following that, we will present a set of potential recommendations that could be used with our team focusing on one particular recommendation with a short-term and long-term implementation process for it. We will also hit on some of the major risks that we see as potential hazards for this process. I will now pass over to Jessica, who will present the issues of this case.
Thank you, Andrew. I'm going to begin by outlining some of the issues involved with Le Chateau's main problem, and will then move on to analyze some factors that helped us come to our recommendations. First of all, let's take a look at Le Chateau's strategy, which is to translate new fashion trends into collections and get a dynamic sales team to deliver that to customers. It is very crucial that your company's positioning mix is aligned with this strategy. We have deemed the most important factors of this mix to be targeting the right customers, having socially aware merchandising and manufacturing, and to have a customer-oriented sales staff that is interested in the fashion industry. Now let's take a look at some of the external factors that have pressure on Le Chateau. First of all, there is fast fashion, which is rolling out in 2-month cycles, trendy and inexpensive clothing that gets onto shelves fast. A critical success factor that you already have in place for this is to anticipate trends and having in-house manufacturing. Another pressure comes from socially aware consumers who are calling for eco-friendly products such as organic cottons, and manufacturing that occurs in places with equitable labor practices. A critical success factor that you already have in place for this is that you already manufacture 35% and have production capabilities that could expand. A very important internal factor for Le Chateau is your sales staff, who are crucial for delivering your products to customers. We are going to use a measure of store productivity that is sales per square foot, which dropped from 2008 to 2009 to base our analysis on what needs to change in Le Chateau's repositioning. Now taking a look at the situational analysis. How do the factors that I have just discussed have an effect on the repositioning of the brand, and what effect will this have on overall profits? First of all, let's take a look at the target customers of Le Chateau. Women accounted for over 55% of your sales in 2009. You have also stressed that you are a fashion company, not a teenage company. You target the middle market, ranging from soccer moms to career-oriented women. Now let's take a look at the 2 different generations that we are dealing with today. Generation Xers are born from 1960 to 1970 and aged 40 to 50 years old. There are approximately 2.6 million of them in Canada. They're wary about advertising, research-oriented in their shopping, and have considerable buying power because they've been neglected by previous retailers. Generation Y women are aged 20 to 40 years old, and there are approximately 4.6 million of them in Canada. They use technology to shop, live at a very fast pace, and connect shopping to their personal identity. The products that Le Chateau decides to put onto the market are extremely influenced by the target market selection, so this is a crucial stage. If the company wants to continue selling high fashion clothing, it may be smarter to cater to the Generation Yers, but it should ensure that Generation X women will still feel comfortable wearing their clothing. Now moving on to merchandising and manufacturing. Le Chateau has already taken steps to prepare for fast fashion. It has vertically integrated its design and manufacturing capabilities. 35% is done in-house. This reduces the cycle time. There is also strong pressures for high quality but low prices. Manufacturing in Asian countries with cheap labor markets will lower costs, but may tarnish brand reputation because consumers are beginning to become aware of unfair labor practices, including child labor, and labor exploitation in some of these countries. You might want to also consider using eco-friendly products to capture sales from environmentally friendly shoppers. Finding the right balance of quality and cost is very crucial to Le Chateau's merchandising and manufacturing. The company must choose the right mix of manufacturing in countries such as Canada with its own capabilities and keeping costs down low by manufacturing in other Southeast Asian countries. It is also very important to communicate any socially aware manufacturing efforts to its customers. That moves us on to our next slides on sales staff. Frontline staffing is crucial for communicating any promotional advertisements to customers. You had 3,000 people employed in 2009. Now, assuming that 90% of these are frontline staff, each employee covers over 400 square feet of store space. Do you really want each store employee to be responsible for that much? Now let's take a look at your store's productivity. In 2008, you gained $408 of sales per square foot. Compared to this to 2009 levels, which is only $385 of sales per square foot. This could be due to Le Chateau's expansion, assuming that not enough employees were hired during this time. More store employees could generate more sales for the company. You might also want to consider retraining employees on selling your products. Not only must they believe in the products and become interested in high fashion, but they should look confident and be able to answer any questions that customers might have about your products. You can then use them to differentiate yourselves from your competition such as H&M, who do have lower store employees per store customer volume. We will assume that basic employee benefits are currently given, instead of incentives that could increase sales. That concludes our analytical slides. Now moving on to Haley with our recommendations.
Thank you, Jess. As a group, we've developed 3 solutions we believe will assist your company in the post-baby boom market. Not only will these solutions keep Le Chateau competitive, but also fuel productivity and enhance the overall internal environment of the company. For our first recommendation, we believe that a talented, motivated, and free-spirited workforce fuels an innovative and productive workforce. So we suggest that by targeting Generation Y with personalized, knowledgeable staff who see a long-term future with the company, you will offer great financial success. Profit sharing and leadership development programs for staff members who see an interest in the fashion industry will assist in motivating your staff to respond to this type of leadership. We would also suggest that you continue local manufacturing because Generation Y is very socially aware and outsourcing tends to leave a negative feeling in their mouth. We have realized that becoming more interactive and participative with the staff fuels and increases the morale of the company, which also results in an increase in productivity. Therefore, you are getting more performance out of your staff members. Soon you will see that the staff are more effective as a result from the enhanced organizational learning, which is constant and continuous growth, and in the fast-paced fashion world, this is essential to the success of your company. This is why the second option, we would still like you to target Generation Y, but keep the manufacturing outsourced instead of local. This way, you will lower your costs and be able to spend more on increasing the education and knowledge of your staff so that they can sell to Generation Y consumers as much as possible. Finally, our third recommendation is for you to target Generation X and keep the manufacturing local. The Generation X idea of a consumer are typically going to be spending more. They want a service that provides them exactly what they're looking for, and they want personalized attention and assistance from all staff members, as well as they're constantly expecting a higher quality of manufacturing. Now in this case, the staff members would still have to be very talented and motivated to succeed. The more knowledgeable they have about the products, the more they're going to be able to sell to a generation who tends to be very skeptical when it comes to information that is made available about the product. By keeping the manufacturing local, you'll have a lot of control over the quality of the product, and you can stand by to the quality of the product which Generation X is used to expecting. With current trends in the fashion industry today being alternative sizing and organic clothing, everyone would need to be on their A game in regards to product knowledge and product development. So, with the combination of local, good quality clothing and knowledgeable staff who can please the Generation X, this recommendation would be very likely to succeed. However, as a team, we have decided that in the current marketplace, Solution 1 is the best option for Le Chateau. Generation Y is an up-and-coming market that will be here to stay in the long run. We understand that you do not want to be a brand who is changing their image every 2 or 3 years, and so we want to give you a strategy that will not only be good for the current point in time, but also show great success in the future. I will now let Andrew explain to you how we suggest to start the immediate implementation of this solution.
Thanks, Haley. So as Haley has mentioned, we believe strongly that you and your company should actively pursue a recommendation of targeting Generation Y consumers who are more tech-savvy and more socially aware. It is paramount that the front-of-house staff are motivated and driven to properly sell your product in an engaging and personalized experience. We need productive employees who know they have a future with the company and are also having their voices heard by upper management. So how are we actually going to achieve these goals? Well, as we have outlined here on our visuals, our first year short-term implementation is going to require necessary corporate training for our management team who will be implementing the new Le Chateau. Followed by that, the leadership development program will need to be created so it is ready for opening. A hiring fair for new employees will need to occur shortly after this. This process is pivotal to the vision of the company, as we need to ensure we are hiring the right people that will sell the brand in the best way possible. If we are giving our employees a level of empowerment to create design ideas and contribute to the company, we need to know that they are committed to the company. We cannot afford to have a high level of turnover, as that will be detrimental to this process. Our goal is to have your company with the lowest turnover rates in the industry. At the same time as this, our production team will need to be in this discussion with our local manufacturers and come to an agreement with our new production targets that we will require from them. We want them to be as excited about this agreement as your team is, as we are creating business for them and they are generating this business as well. Once we have seen to these points, we can begin to look at our 5-year plan. Points to be looked at during this 5-year plan are the following. Evaluate the leadership development program and review the feedback from employees on this matter. Have there been some success stories, and is everyone being given the same chance? We must also review the manufacturing levels and targets and identify any necessary changes that will need to occur. It is very important that we see to this on a bi-monthly basis to ensure that our projections and levels submitted to the manufacturers are met. Lastly, and most importantly, we need to review our finances and brand reputation and ensure they are on par with our targets within the industry. Ensuring that this brand reputation is high and our finances are on par is pivotal to the success of the company. Of course, with all this comes a series of risks that may be encountered. Risks that we have identified are as follows. The cost of manufacturing on more of a localized basis may be higher than we anticipate, which would affect the profits. To plan for this, we will ensure we are not tied into any long-term contracts with our manufacturers with the ability to increase our outsourced manufacturing to reduce costs. There's also the threat of having a failed acceptance to our new leadership strategies. We understand this class will cost more, however, we believe it will in turn make for greater profits. With that as well, we could possibly encounter the issue of not reaching our profit goals due to high labor and staffing expenses from our more personalized experience. Having more staff on the floor does mean more labor expenses. However, we strongly believe that these costs incurred are well worth it since they are the foundation of our service. Lastly, we could have possibly targeted the wrong market by not choosing Generation X, who typically spends more on clothing. We do believe, however, that this spending trend will not carry on much longer in the clothing market and instead will be taken over by the Generation Y market that is beginning full-time employment and has a higher disposable income. With our potential risks identified, it concludes our proposal to you. We thank you for your time and we hope you see the potential in our recommendation like we do. We would now like to take any questions that you have for us. Thank you for your time.